Us, everyone.
Oh,
Welcome to the Kyokushin Shuffle. Thanks, everyone. And I trust everyone's enjoying the Forever the Student coming back to the platform. Got a real good, amazing special guest. As always, we got good guests, but none other than Shihan George Kolovos. Shihan, an honor to have you on. It's been a long time. How are you? I'm sure you're busy at your gym there, but thanks so much for your time.
thank you for having me, Sensei. I appreciate having me on your show. It'll be good to pass on some information or some of the stuff that's been going on for the last 50 years that I've been training.
And let's start on that. You have how many years has it been? And it's obviously 50 and a little bit more.
Yeah, no, look, I started back in 1975.
Wow.
And really, I haven't stopped.
Unbelievable.
I haven't stopped. It's not as if I've had a break.
Yeah.
In between, it's just non-stop.
It would be.
So I've made a career out of passion.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
fantastic prize.
Shihan, we obviously go a long way behind, Shihan Billy and our journey, my journey from afar in seeing you was always from the other side of the fence, being,
Yes.
your successes of your dojo, and then Shihan Billy's dojo. I was his student, but you're all friends and connected, and we were all under the one group at one phase, and we've had lots of blessings and good times. In starting in 1975, with all respect, you had you obviously had a teacher like when you started, like who was your teacher?
Yeah, look, I started back in 1975 at the Brunswick Dojo in Albert Street. That was the main headquarters.
Yeah.
And it was about March of 1975. By about May or June,
Yep.
we had the pleasure of having Takumi Higashitani come down from Japan. I don't know if some of the people would know Takumi, but he was the one that in the top 8 of the first world tournament.
Wow.
Little did we know at the time, he came down to teach, but also prepare up for a world tournament.
Oh dear.
So yeah, absolutely, that's right. So he saw us and basically taught us what karate was all about. To see him kick, to see him punch, to see him fight, we realized that, wow, well, what are we doing? We learned so much from that. However, he also cleaned out the dojo. So say out of 100 students, we ended up being about 15 to 20 of us by the time we left 3 months down the track.
Oh man. Good problem. How do you reflect on that now?
Well, look, those days, Sensei, if you trained, you fought. It's not like today. There was no children training.
Right.
Teenager at the time. But that was the youngest you would have in a karate class. Everybody that was in there was a fighter. So when we look back at the time, then when I was 17, 18, competing at the national tournament, the AKK national tournament, you would have 80 lightweights.
Wow.
Middleweights, maybe 60 heavyweights, 20 to 30. You're fighting over 2 days because you needed 2 days to get through it. Because everybody was a fighter. Everybody was a fighter, good or bad.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not, please understand, I'm not saying that people say to me,
of course,
oh, look, we did it hard. We used to train hard. Yes, of course we did. I also look at it as we trained stupid.
I see.
It's like we trained hard, but very primitive what we did.
Yeah.
We'll hurt ourselves long term as well.
Yeah.
And when other instructors talk to me and say, oh, we did it hard, we did this, we did that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they don't train hard. And my answer to that is, how much better are today's students than what we were?
Right.
So when you look back
at
the videos of us fighting, I closed my eyes. I closed my eyes.
It was,
You know what I mean? So Yeah, today's students might not train as hard, but they train smart. They're better fighters. They move. Techniques are better. We were just hard and stupid, standing toe to toe, exchanging punches and kicks.
I appreciate your honesty in that, because it's again refreshing to hear. We catch up, but we don't have these types of chats, obviously, because we're always on the go when we bump into each other. And this is what this chat's about, which is already a great start. And in appreciating, again, one of the biggest things I'm extremely passionate about, you've heard me talk about it, is the legacy that you legends respectfully have left for guys like myself and the younger generation. And this is why we're sharing this stuff, because like Shihan just said, in the late 70s, early 80s, it was the word I feel is intense. It's intense, coming through that Brunswick / area. It, from my understanding, it was that upbringing of being tough, rugged.
Yeah, absolutely. It was tough and hard. Yeah. We were all very, very committed, very committed. Just to show and to make people understand, back in the late 60s, Ivan Zavichanos was the first brand chief that Sensei had made.
Yes.
And introduced Kyokushin to Australia.
Yes.
So saw Ivan back at the Budokan in Japan. Ivan, of course, being a judoka. He said to him, look, I've got a good karate style, a style that I want you to introduce to Australia, which they've agreed to bring somebody down, and Sensei send Kato down. Of course, Shihan Hanshi Eddie Emin was part of that. So at the time, Sensei Kato came down. Sensei Kato was also the instructor of people like Matsui. That's his. So very, very well known instructor at the time. Now, just to make everybody understand,
yes,
those days, I was talking to Hanshi John Taylor, the late Hanshi, and he said to me, George, those days we used to learn karate from the books. Because I was asking him, how did it all start? We used to look at books and read.
Yeah.
We used to go down at the ports.
Yes.
And as soon as you see somebody Asian, we assumed that they knew karate. So we said, look, teach us something.
Yeah.
Whether they knew or not, it made no difference. Yeah. Of course, he said to me, we were so committed when Sensei Kato come down. He used to drive down with two other instructors every weekend from Sydney to train with him.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? I look at it and I think, wow, take 9 hours of driving now. Back in the 60s, it would take 12 hours.
Yeah, plus, yeah.
Such was the commitment. Such was the commitment. Yeah. And I think that's the commitment we all had.
Yeah.
I think I would have been one of the rare people at the time. I used to train. I was very passionate. I used to train 5 days a week.
Wow.
It was just something that, I had just simply had the passion. Yeah. Not that I had instructors. Yep. A lot of the training was self-training.
Yes.
That's what people did those days.
Yeah.
That's what people did. Yeah. However, I find today's student really relies on the sensei or the Shihan to put energy into them, which is fair enough. However,
that's a great point, and it's a good little conversation here, because it's people like yourself, Shihan, that are now at the rank and level. And this is one big thing that I wanted to bring up with you and acknowledge on your behalf, and for many out there, is the students that you have created over the last 40 odd years are now in the ranks of Sandan, Yondan, Godan, Shihan. I mean, that influence was something that, again, was mystique in your era. To see a black belt in the early 70s, 80s was rare, right? Now, thanks to all of you that have made this pathway and built these amazing facilities and dojos and sacrificed your lives, you've groomed so many of us to an extent that's now allowed it to have the presence of, oh, well, the students these days rely on their senseis to show them. And it's because of guys like you. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, you're showing a part. I mean, for me, karate is all about developing oneself, not only in karate, but in general life.
Of course.
Showing you that you can be focused for what you want to achieve. When we're talking about karate, it's being focused and say, look, in the next 4 or 5 years, I want to be at that level black belt. And, every 3 or 6 months, you get given a belt after a test to show you that, hey, you're getting there. You're getting there. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Come on, a little bit more. And keep going. Keep going. You're there. You're there. Don't give up. Just keep pushing. Keep pushing. And I think that's just life in general. So for me, I truly don't understand when I see students of mine not really do as well in life.
I see. Yep.
Whether it's work commitments, other commitments, because it's like, hey, you've been given a formula. It's all about gradual progress. And you've been taught that. It's just hard work. And keep pushing. You're going to get there. And, it's just like all of us, Sensei. It's, you go to a tournament and unfortunately you can't win all the time. And you don't. But you pick yourself up and you think, okay, I've got to get stronger. Got to get back out there and get back in and come through. And that's just life for me.
Yeah.
That's just life giving you a slap in the face to let you know, hey,
you're
not traveling in the right. Let's go. Pick yourself up. You're not doing very well. You're making a mistake. Pick it up. And karate has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And look, I'm just fortunate enough that I've been around for such a long time that I've trained with some fantastic people. I've got some fantastic students now that are Shihans themselves, running their own dojos, and are quite successful in every way. And I believe I've shown them the path.
Yes.
And I always said to my students, look, what you got to do is look at what I've got and what I've achieved. And I want you to look at it and think, I want to do better than my Shihan.
Yeah, right. Great call.
And I don't look at it to say, oh, I'm the Shihan, so I'm on top. No. Yeah. Evolution means that my students need to be better than me.
Understood. Yeah.
So everything's about moving forward. So, look, when you look at the likes of, say Shihan Maria Jablisco as a world champion, as a dojo operator, as an instructor, as a tournament organizer. She is basically a junior version what I could have been, but she's actually done it.
Yeah, great call. Yeah.
And it's because she was fortunate enough to not only train with me, but also work with me for a number of years. So we organized tournaments together. We did classes. We traveled to seminars together. She was my little girl,
Yeah.
by my side. I remember holding her at the age of 13, 14, as a daughter.
Yeah.
And she's a mother, Shihan. Look, it's fantastic. I think when you look at it, Sensei, it's I think of it and I think how lucky I was to be around at a time that Kyokushin was won.
Yeah, right.
And what I look at and think, it's disappointing that my students will never, ever see a world tournament with 20, 30,000 people.
Yeah.
Fighting over 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going to an Australian championship where you couldn't get in to the
Yeah.
venue, 2,000 people coming along. I look at it and I can say, hey, I fought
Mm.
at the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah. Amazing.
In me, the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had the Victorians at the Melbourne Town Hall. It's like, come on, who's
Yeah.
ever done that?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we did it as Kyokushin.
Yeah.
Through the vision and the passion that we all had, and the direction of people like Shihan Taylor and Eddie Emin.
Also.
Both those Shihans encouraging us and putting us through, we managed to achieve a lot. So it's a little bit disappointing now. You've got, say, 2 or 3 Victorian championships. You've got a number of Kyokushin organisations.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, but it is
Yeah.
in a sense.
In that, we'll bring it up near the end. Obviously, Shihan George has his Victorian titles, which is in March. Correct me, 17. So it's a month and a bit away. So we'll talk more about that near the end and help promote that and get people to register. It's going really well for Shihan. He always runs it every year. Now, I see it in another angle as well, and from again another part, other side of the fence, is that at least you Shians are giving us continuous opportunities where you and your predecessors had an opportunity, right? Now, again, there's always got to, I try to look at all the positives on where this has led to and how it's got to this phase. But with people like yourself that are continuing to push through and run an event, at least we've got these opportunities rather than the other way. Now, while we've got these opportunities, again, I say it to Shihan Billy, it feels like a luxury at times, a luxury of selecting now, which is not ideal for certain, in supporting someone like yourself and others. But now that we have a selection, so in open discussion, we are off to Japan in April. So to throw in 2 or 3 fighters into this VIX, again, the opportunity gets missed, but it's there. So so there's all these timings that everyone has to factor into. And I think slowly, Shihan, slowly meaning, I don't know how it's just looking at the positive of going, well, it's there, compete, train for it, and good luck. And, these historic stories of the one event and the one chance, no doubt in my mind, all of you would have been like, shit, we've only got one chance here to be, and we better make the most of it. And I mean, the pressure that comes with that as well from your teachers and your senseis at that time would have been unbelievable.
Well, what you're saying is absolutely right, because when you're talking about being given the opportunities, you've got to look at it in such a way as the way you mentioned everything, that you'd only had one chance. So for the Victorian Championships, you a single chance. Now, yourself, training very hard. A lot of the time you get injured. I don't think ever any fighter goes into an event, a tournament, 100% fit, is always carrying some sort of injury, some sort. Because if you're training hard, you're going to have that little injury. You never 100%. Now, if it's a big injury, obviously you can't compete. It's one of those things. How many people just can't compete because they've hurt themselves in the process of getting ready, because they're pushing it themselves. And of course, those days, if you missed the event, that was it. You had to wait for the following year. Now I look at it, we're fortunate enough to have 2 major tournaments here. One with Hanshi Gary Vickers, the AKKA, and myself, and Shin Kyokushin, the other Kyokushin. So I look at it, how fantastic is it? You've got a tournament that we're running in March. So you look at it as a sensei, as senpai training a student, and you say, look, you've got a tournament March the 17th, and if we don't feel you're ready, that's okay, because a month down the track, we got another tournament. But, out of 5 people, there's 2 already. So, look, you 2 are going to do March, but you're going to do the April because you'll peak at that time. And, you hurt yourself, so you can't do one tournament, so you'll do the other.
Mm.
That's fantastic. For me, you've got opportunities.
Yeah. Now,
opportunities.
You were at the forefront again from when I came through. I was very lucky to be selected in one of your Australia-Japan events, the World Ring Karate. I've got the letter that you sent me. I've got it in my dojo because it was an honor to, I was only a green belt at the time, but you obviously were at the forefront of promoting the World Ring Karate time and allowing the undercard. And I was under that undercard, and the main card was Shihan George and Sensei, Senpai Kim Osborne was training with us at the time, and it was just, it was the epicenter of that moment for me to go, shit, and my story here is in looking up to that, and looking up to an opportunity like that. That's rare. You sacrificed it. It's your business. It was your, way of gesturing back. All right, let's do something special here. How did you feel at that time? Because you're obviously doing something like this for the benefit of the long term and what your vision was.
Well, look, the vision was back in 1995, the Sensei passed away. We all became and joined Kanchen Matsui as Kyokushin. I didn't personally like the way Kanchen Matsui was running the organization at the time. So I was the first one in Australia that resigned from the organization.
Understood.
Simply because we had a big conflict, and I thought, no, I don't like the way things are heading.
Yep.
So I resigned. And, of course, I was the first one. So everybody turned around and said to me, well, George, what are you going to do? And I looked at my options of doing Seido Karate, for instance, because a lot of that was the K1.
Yep.
I'd been very close with Seido Karate. I was looking at a lot of other senseis or shihans from Japan joining their organization, and because I had left Kyokushin. But I also looked at my dojo, and Sosei was everywhere. The kanji was everywhere. And most important, the kanji is in my heart.
Of course.
And it was like, how can I possibly put another badge on?
Right.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I decided, I thought, no. I'm going to be independent. I'm going to do Kyokushin.
Okay. Yeah.
So I continue with Kyokushin. However, that also became a problem because a lot of the Kyokushin organizations wouldn't work with me.
Of course.
They sort of banned me from entering their tournament. Yeah. And, of course, having a number of fighters and fighting at a higher level, they didn't get the opportunities that they deserved.
Shit.
So then, like, what do I do? How do I do it?
Yeah.
So I created the Ring Karate.
Okay.
And after running a couple of events with undercard people, I decided to bring down a whole team from Japan.
Yeah. You did.
And, of course, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the World Ring Karate started in a big way.
Yeah.
What it did it gave me an entry to Japan without the usage of the Kyokushin name.
Nice. Gotcha.
Of Sensei or Shihan at the time, George Kolovos. So all of a sudden, from the Japanese team, came all these invitations to go to Japan to fight in an old Japan of various different styles without being Kyokushin. And for the first time ever, we would travel with, like Shihan George and so many other Sensei Jacobs, all these well-known fighters that we had. We would go to Japan and compete. Kyokushin, but an independent organization.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And what had happened is all of a sudden we're getting invitations from all these different organizations, which made me realize, wow, okay, I
Yeah.
don't have to be part of
It,
Kyokushin itself.
yeah, it's
So a
happening.
lot
It's
of doors
happening
opened,
elsewhere. It was happening elsewhere. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it allowed my students
Yep,
to stay with me
yep,
because they were given the
yeah,
opportunities.
yeah.
And Sensei Patrick, what I look at, my way of coming through the organization, karate, and you know yourself, after training, you need somebody to push you.
Was
You need some. Unfortunately, I had an instructor, Sensei Kerry Christopher, and Shihan in. However, a lot of the training was done by myself.
yeah.
Yeah, they were there to guide me. And they weren't there when I was fighting. So I needed someone to push me.
Okay.
What happened is the organization pushed me.
Mm.
In the sense of, I used to go to a Victorian Championship, and my instructor used to say, George, you're going to go and compete. We're going down Geelong to compete at the Victorian Championships. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. So please don't come out complaining that the referees are not fair, they're biased, and
Okay.
so on. I am telling you now, you're going to lose.
Jeez.
So you have a choice: you either go in or you don't go out. But if you go in, you have got the opportunity in 3 minutes to take that fighter out.
That's it.
So there's no dispute. You take him out, you win. That's Kyokushin. The moment that you're standing toe to toe,
Yes.
and the time finishes, and it goes to a call by the judges and referees, you're going to lose.
Okay.
So what you're saying is, I've given him my best shot. I'm not good enough to finish him. You make the decision. The decision's against you. You've lost.
Shit.
But please, if you come out, don't complain.
Okay.
A lot of my
Wow.
friends that I used to train with quit.
Yeah.
Because we were on the wrong side of the fence.
Okay.
The power was down Geelong. However, with me, it made me train harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
To become better.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to win so much.
Yeah.
So, again, it's the organization that pushed me.
I see what you're coming from. Yeah. 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 It gave you the incentive / from a different mindset.
That just goes right through my Kyokushin life as an instructor. My students will go for a black belt, and some of them would fail. They would fail a grading. Now, in my eyes, good or bad, it's like, come on, what are you talking about? I can see how well they did compared to others that have passed.
Okay.
I would use that method with my students to say, listen, what you did your best, but you're nothing more than an average black belt.
Okay.
What we've got to do is train harder so there's no dispute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, it made my students train harder.
Yeah.
Take them to the next level.
Nice. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything that happened, it was the organization that was making me better. Train harder.
Now, one thing I wanted to bring up was, you've done the whole process of from student to teacher to running dojo, but then not just running dojo, running business, and being one of the most successful at it with the establishment that you've had and in to you about it one time, how you told me how old it was. Now, with that, as I'm coming through, I like tapping into the coach mindset, and you were one of the top coaches with those fighters and the events that you were running. And again, for those to understand and appreciate the history that I have, on the cards that Shihan would have was Judd Reed, Phil Jacobson, Peter Rich, Maria Rich, and it just kept going with all these guns, rest in peace, my good buddy, Daniel Fox, when I was coming through, you were on the other side of the mat. My Shihan's on this mat. And it's like, oh, Shihan George's student versus Billy's student. We had that respect, and I loved it. I adored it. And then I would see all those other seniors of yours as a coach. How again, you taught yourself karate to a degree. And then when it came to coaching, how was your success? What was it based on? You were just, like you said, your standards were extremely high.
Look, coming through, my instructor, Sensei Kerry Christopher, stopped after I achieved my black belt just for a certain time due to work commitments.
Yep.
So I spent a lot of time training with Shihan at the time, Shihan Eddie Emin. Of course, that was the time that Senpai Billy was coming through as a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I've got these 5 to 8 years on Billy. So he was only a young kid, but showing a lot of potential. So such was the commitment where I used to run a dojo in Essendon. That's where it all started. And I remember finishing about 8 o'clock, then jumping in my car and driving down to St Kilda for the last half an hour of Eddie's class just to have somebody to fight.
Gotcha. Wow.
So you got to look at it. People like Shihan, Billy Polly, he came up as a junior. We had a lot of respect for each other. We were always competitive, always fighting extremely hard, but had a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah.
And we went through. He would be on one side of the mat as a coach. I would be on the other side. And it was about how good the students are. And sometimes my students won or sometimes lost.
Yep.
But you had that mutual respect where you went over there and it's like, oh, good job, Shihan. That's fantastic. You've done great. I've just got to make sure I train mine better so next time we come through. So there was no animosity.
Nah.
It's like you look at AFL football, you got 2 coaches. There's no animosity between the coaches.
Sure.
It's how the team plays.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to train them. It was my responsibility as Shihan Billy to train his students as best we can. So it was that competitiveness that made us better. Yeah. And life goes on, and Shihan Billy would have to be up there, as a fighter, as an instructor. He's produced you with a number of students that he's got. Yeah. So everybody has. Look, Kyokushin's very lucky. Has produced a lot of senior instructors that I feel Kyokushin will go through for a long time.
Yeah, and that was the part that I'm reflecting on now with you, because when I competed against your students and I got to fight Daniel, in the nationals, and it was a bloody tough fight, and we traveled to Japan together, that mutual respect obviously is there. And then I fought, I didn't get to fight Phil in the nationals in 07. I fought Graham Rose in the semi. So I missed Phil. Had I beaten Graham, I would have fought. And they're people that, what I'm sharing with to the listeners is that inspiration to go, wow, that's a Shihan George student. It's going to be tough. It's going to be brutal, and it's like, good. Let's go. Because if you want to keep going. So my point is, like you said, that it's not a rivalry word, but it is in that concept of using the energy that I had. And I'm fortunate and blessed in a way for all your students that are listening with Daniel. He motivated me, and we would chat to each other, and he said I motivated him, and the motivation to train harder, to beat each other next time. He beat me in the Vicks, I beat him in the national. He beat me in this, and it was like, whoa, shit, this is getting out of hand. This is getting harder and harder, because we wanted to just get better and better. And it's ingredient that you had, that Shihan Billy had, that snuck its way into the dojo to a degree, because and that was awesome. And I have it kind of now, going, wow, if all these other students and all these other teachers really have a high standard, we got to go, we got to rise, we got to go.
Yeah, look, as I said, it's evolution. It's something that you've got to look at as a student, as an instructor, not to sit back and say, well, yeah, I'm on top and that's fine, I'm just going to sit there. You got to look at it, and competition is there to test not only the student but also the instructor. We've got to look at it as coaches.
Yes.
And see, we are putting people's body on the line. And I think as instructors, you're doing the wrong thing if you haven't prepared your students properly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible for everyone to win all the time. But, you know, as a coach, you've got to look at it and think, how am I going to make this student better? So he does win. Or my student has won, but still he lacked on, you know, that particular technique. I could see so many techniques that he didn't throw. He could have. Okay, I'm going to go back and look at improving his technique. You know what I mean? As a coach, always going to look at these things.
Yes.
Just going to win or lose. It's not like, oh, well, we won. We're the best. Let's go. No. It's we won, but how can I make him better?
Yeah.
Because I tell you, the person that lost will come back better.
Yeah, hungrier. Yeah.
Yes,
Hey,
absolutely.
Shihan, your facility, fight club there in Melbourne, you were kind of, and excuse my ignorance, I'm not trying to upset anyone here, but you had that cross training approach. Now you had set up a business, you know, the Kyokushin had its hub there, but slowly with business and with the rise of martial arts, you've been through the whole era of the changing in kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, BJJ, you know, all these different styles. Give us a bit of a walkthrough of how your brain and your entrepreneurial mindset now, but as well as trying to maintain the etiquette and the ethics of how, you know, a club, a dojo has to maintain. I'm sure it's it would have been a hell of a challenge because you broke the norm to a degree, you know, early in the 2000s, maybe even earlier.
Well, look, I can always say I was always very open-minded, very open. I find a lot of Kyokushin people are just closed-minded in the sense of we're the best. So that's it. We're the best. I don't that way. I think we are the best, but I just want to be so much better.
Okay.
So back in '79, I fought in the second Australian Championships up in the Gold Coast back in '79. Now I fought and I was only like a small 67 kilo, very, very thin. And I thought to myself, no, I don't want to win the lightweight because those days the middleweight fought the heavyweight for a grand champion. That's how naive I was.
Wow.
So I thought, no, I'm going to fight as a middleweight. So bang, I put myself in the middleweight. Now I got top four.
Shit.
Top four. But the person that was standing there watching the tournament was Bob Jones.
Oh, wow.
Now, Bob Jones, I only had known of him. I've sort of seen him around. So after losing that semi-final, he came up to me and said, oh, look, you know, very, very well done. I saw you fight. You fought very well for a small guy. I think you would have a better chance if you start doing what I'm going to introduce.
I see. Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Well, I'm going to bring in kickboxing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, like we're seeing around the kickboxing that you see in America, karate people doing kickboxing, kicking above the waist.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, yeah. So I knew nothing about kickboxing.
Jeez, what a story.
But all of a sudden, I'm fighting in kickboxing. And since I tell you,
wow.
Shihan, Eddie Emmett,
would
ring me. And in those days, of course, you rang the house phone. I wasn't around, so he left a message with my mum on a Sunday afternoon to say, can you tell George he's fighting at the Dorset Gardens at 7 o'clock to be up there? Not knowing who I'm fighting.
No.
Not asking me if I want to fight.
Yeah.
Just be at the Dorset Gardens Hotel. And it's like,
what?
Yeah, okay. So I'd ring up a friend just in case I got hurt. And he'd drive me up there.
Yep.
So I was one of the very, very first to do kickboxing.
Yeah, right.
Now, I was quite successful because I was hard.
Yep.
I had the 3 fights. By the time I did my 4th fight, I really, really seriously got bashed.
Oh, shit.
Really got bashed. I got put in the corner. I didn't know how to get out. My training, karate training. I'm facing a boxer
Yeah.
that had serious fights. He could punch, he could move well as a boxer. Very, very new to me, that type of fighting. However, he lost. And he lost because those days you had to throw 6 kicks around.
Ah.
The rules to keep the boxers out, you had to throw 6 kicks. So a lot of the times the boxers would sit there and throw their legs up in the air, kicking six times, and then just punch it out.
Yeah.
But of course he didn't. He just came in using his hands. So he lost. But at the same time, I got benched.
Yeah.
So I sort of looked at it and I thought, well, I've got to change my training. I've got to start going to a dojo, train if I want to continue with this. So it was a choice that I had to make. Well, whether you continue as a kickboxer,
yeah,
fighting at places like the Dawson Hotel, Croxton Park, and so on, or continue fighting at a highest level possible in Kyokushin.
Full contact karate, yeah.
Yeah. So there was no choice. My passion was always Kyokushin.
Yeah, but then it moved into your business side, and then from the business side, you've had amazing people come through from all walks of life due to that open-mindedness, right? And how has been that balance as a business operator, again from the etiquette of Kyokushin, which is your foundation and it's in your heart, and then you've got the way of other martial arts coming into your house, you know?
Look, being open-minded, I never looked at it as, this particular student now wants to do kickboxing. I look at it always, hey, if you don't want to train with me, that's fine. Yeah. Just go ahead and train anything you like. Yeah. I don't want you to train with me if you don't want to be there. Yeah. I realized that a very long time after doing kickboxing that it was starting to get very popular.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, my dojo has spare time slots that is doing nothing. And I want the kickboxing. What had happened is I've always been a very proud person. Even though I've been doing kickboxing, I didn't teach kickboxing. So I used to bring other instructors, pay them to teach kickboxing. I never really liked the way that they used to teach. Okay. I had brought people to do Aikido, like Shihan George Kolovos as their friend to teach. So I had a number of people doing different styles because it was a matter of giving students a choice to do what they want to do. And let's face it, what is good for me is not necessarily good for you.
Sure.
So I want you to have a choice in my dojo rather than, no, you can only do Kyokushin with me. If you want to do something else, go to another dojo. No.
Yeah.
So I used to bring students. There came a time that after a number of years where I thought, no, this is not right. I can see how these people are teaching kickboxing, and it's not the right way of teaching. Yep. So to be fair, what I did, I thought, I'm going to do this properly. Okay. So I traveled to Thailand. I did some research.
Yep.
And took a number of students over to Thailand so then we can develop the skill that I needed to be able to teach.
Good one.
And you know what? Kyokushin has given me a really, really good foundation, strong foundation. Because when you go Muay Thai and he says to you, okay, do a knee kick, we could do a knee kick. Do a low kick, we can do a low kick. You know, punch to the face. Yeah, we had to lift our hands up, but the punches were strong because that's what we do.
Yes.
Combinations was never an issue. Not as if you're doing sport karate, and I'm not running sport karate down, it's just different. Yeah. So, you know, somebody like Kancho McGuinness that I went to train with saw that in me and my students, and it's like, my God, look at these people. They've never done anything like this before, and they just picked it up.
Okay.
So you know yourself, Sensei, you become attracted to people that train hard.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Understood.
And you want to give them more information because you give them more information, you know they're going to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And, Kancho McGuinness saw that in me and my
Okay.
students. And after going there 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like, these guys are not stopping.
yeah,
These guys are going on. So I became friends. And again,
yeah. Of
it's
course.
that open-mindedness that you're creating friends,
Yep.
which gives you an opportunity.
Yeah.
But the only thing I could say to everybody, what brings me close to a whole lot of people is the dojo floor or
Mm.
whether it's boxing ring. Because at the end of the day, you gain respect through your ability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I frown on people that just stand there watching, and I'm sorry to say, and then after that, they line up for a group picture to say, hey, I mean, I was at that seminar,
Yeah.
I was at that session. I look at it and I think,
No, no, no.
we are not here for the pictures,
I see.
here to train.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're taking a picture to say, man, I sweated with that person.
Yeah.
Look at me sparring with that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for everybody, you need to develop your skill. And, people like myself and yours, Shihan, Kelsey, Jim Phillips, and so on,
Yep.
we've always had a great technique, very, very proud of our own personal ability.
Yes.
And you need that
Mm.
to gain the respect from other trainers.
Yeah.
Because our meetings is not on the boardroom. Our boardroom is the dojo floor.
That's perfect. It is, isn't it? We'll talk
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
And you can't kid people because these are senior instructors, and all of a sudden you've got to take the class or you've got to stand in front of them,
Mm. Yeah.
and they tell if you can't do something.
Yeah.
So everybody look at your own personal skill
Yeah.
and always try and develop your
Yeah.
personal skill.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's great points for everyone there. And again, from the story of Shian there with his kickboxing in the late 70s, that's a credit to you because again, you've kept that facility open to how long has it been now, Shian? How long have you had this facility?
Well, this banana rally has been here for 27 years, but in the city, I've been here for about 30 years plus
Wow.
in different locations.
Yeah.
But, I sort of looked at it back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I had about 13, 14 dojos
Jesus.
that I was running. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And I looked at it, and my senseis at the time, like Sensei Eddie and so on, they had the dojo, and they had a number of dojos that the
Yep.
students used to operate.
Yep.
But I'm sorry to say, my Kyokushin senseis didn't have a great vision,
Fair enough.
not in expanding in the business side, because they were just passionate. They wanted to train hard.
Yeah.
But the business side, I felt they were lacking.
I see.
And my inspiration was true Bob Jones.
Wow. Yeah, right.
And I looked at it and I thought, my God, Bob Jones was in the city. I look at it at the time. Shotokan had George Karastelios. He was the Shihan back in the 70s
Wow.
when I was going. And then you had the Goju, the Shihan Tino Savarano. He was in the city. So I thought, I need to open up a gym in the city.
Yeah,
I know all those people.
yeah.
Full. I need to be there. This is what's happening. So it wasn't truly my say. You got to really look outside your group. How are you going to get better?
Yeah.
And people like Bob Jones, and I think, my God, what a vision that guy had.
Right.
to do the things and achieve those things that he achieved.
Mm.
We as senseis, we wish that we could achieve half of the things that he achieved.
I see.
So look, we started at the time. I thought, what are we going to do? I rang around. Back in the 90s was very difficult. So the city dojo itself started at the Melbourne City Baths.
Oh, did it? Wow.
Melbourne City Baths. And we used to use the aerobics room one night and the squash court the other. So for a year we did that. And it was very difficult because when you used to use the squash court, our gears used to turn black because of the ball used to leave all those rubber.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, I need to take it to the next level. So then we moved the corner of Burke and Swanson Street. There was a clinic. Those days, Adelstein was the doctor that had those 5-star clinics that had aerobics there.
Jeff Edelstein, who passed. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right.
He created those. So we started teaching in this aerobics room. However, the building used to close at 7 o'clock and we started training at 7 o'clock. So if students didn't make it in early enough, they couldn't get in. So again, after a year, I thought, no, I can't do that.
Right.
And I saw a place between Swanson Street and Russell Street.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you this. At the time, it was opposite the cinema, which is now just a shopping centre.
Yes.
Right in the middle. And I saw this place on the second floor and I thought, I want that. So, cut the long story short, I applied through friends and people that I knew and I got it. Now, at the time, I've got a sign on my wall in the dojo here, which is a neon sign.
Yeah.
That neon sign, Sensei, think about that.
Yeah.
Back at that time, you're talking about the early 90s, cost $10,000.
Oh, shit.
My rent was $6,000. That's the money.
Amazing.
Sign. However, that sign went right outside my wall.
Beautiful.
The neon sign, Kyokushin Karate, and so on. And we opened up. In the first couple of months, it was quiet. It was okay. People were coming. After that, it was like the floodgates opened up.
No way.
The floodgates. We couldn't fit them in.
Oh, man.
Like, this is a problem. My God, look at these people. Where are they coming from?
Yeah.
And then you've got to start creating what you're going to do, however. And you moved into a bigger place and just keep evolving.
Yeah. That's the word, isn't it? Evolving.
And talking about it, I moved to Little Collins Street, and I stayed there for 3 years. And almost outgrew that. When I moved into Banana Rally, we were two of the vaults.
Yes.
But then we got busier, so then we got another vault as it became vacant. We got busier, so we got a fourth vault.
Holy shit.
So it was a gradual progress.
You had a gym in there. You had a gym as well? It was like a gym membership. Exclusive. There's a martial art vault and a gym vault because there's a lot of famous people coming into your hub there.
Yeah, look, I mean, we've got a gym, but I always looked at it as a gym for members to use. It's not, we don't look at it as a gym membership.
Yeah.
Although we do have people come in because they have the ability to practice their own martial arts, the bags and so on.
Yeah.
But people are serious about their weight training. Yeah. They would go to places like Doherty's next door.
Yeah.
Well, we're not like that.
Yeah. Well, that's again, I know you've summarized that again in a 50-year journey for everyone to try and give Shihan his flowers to an extent, to just have a nice chat. You could imagine the stories of him reminiscing of what the sacrifice you've taken to keep this going. So I congratulate you on that. It's every time I drive past it, I do an us personally. I just, you just do an us, and I'm driving past, and you continue to be there. You're there almost every day. You continue to run it with the success it is. What's next, Shihan? What makes you, you've given me that level of how your standards are high. I've always seen, admired that. But what now? What do you thrive on in regards to the Kyokushin way? I know family man, obviously, husband and so forth, and father, but what's this angle? What makes someone like you, again, probably see young bucks like me and doing the social medias and, doing things like this, what do you see for yourself now?
Well, look, I look at myself now, and I hope that I can be an inspiration
No doubt.
to not only my students, but to sensei like yourself and other people.
Yeah.
To look at Shihan George Kolovos and think, okay, he's done well,
Yeah.
but I'm going to do one step more.
That's awesome.
It's like, and I want my students to be better.
Yeah.
I want people like yourself to do better and everybody else.
Yeah.
So what's left is I hope that I've shown people a path.
Yeah.
And, I tell you something. Someone told me a long time ago through businesses and so on.
Yeah.
George, what inspires you? And I said, look, I want to be successful.
Yep.
Successful instructor. Okay, that's fine. And what do you want? I want to win an Australian championship. At the time was a difficult thing. And it's like, okay, how many students you got? 50. Okay, how many fighters would you have in those 50? I said, well, about 30 kids, 20 adults. The 15 would be, parents and so on, maybe 5 that could fight. Out of those 5, who do you think can fight, or would be lucky to have one serious competitor? Okay, George, what happens if you had 100 students? Would your chances increase? Oh, yeah. Well, that's your answer. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
George, okay, do you want to inspire your students to teach? Yes, of course I do. Well, you've got to show them that they can teach and be successful in teaching. Yes, that's okay, but this is what we do. No. You want to show them the path that they can make a career out of what you're doing. Right. So, when you're driving around that Ford, you're driving around this. No. You drive yourself a Mercedes.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You drive yourself
high end.
BMW.
Yeah.
And then your students look at it and think, oh, far out. He's got that through training.
Yeah.
So it's got to be successful.
I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If students see the instructor training, they're just training, pacing through. It's, oh, am I going to do this? I can see everyone struggling.
I totally.
So you've got to show them the path that they can make a career out of.
Yeah, there's a saying I say, being a product of the product, I say.
Yeah. And I'm sorry to say, and I say this to all the senseis and shihans that I talk every day. They say to me, well, you're a businessman. It's like, George, we're just karate people. We just do karate for what it stands for. I said, well, yeah, I can understand that. The difference with you is you go to work, you finish work and you think, oh, I'm going to the dojo, I'm going to do this. Well, no, with me, I get up in the morning and I go to the gym and the whole day is planned. My students can see me at any time.
Sure.
We work because that's my job. And that's the difference between being professional and you call it passion and what you've got. Sure. That's fine. Sure. But I share the same.
Yeah. Way. Well, I don't see much slowing you down after hearing that. And that's really cool. Look at you, you're tired. It's been a long journey. It continues on. I've got to let you get back to the business there. Listeners, what an honor to have Shihan George. It's been a long time coming to an extent of just conversation. It's great to have others now hear a little bit of your amazing 50 plus years in Kyokushin. Thanks so much for your time, Shihan. Much appreciated, and a big uss to you.
Also, thank you for having me, everyone. Sensei, thank you. And I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you.
Well, of course, everyone. Thank you so much. What a nice voice to speak to Shihan George. Take care. See you at the next one. Keep training hard. Us.
Take care.